welcome to the channel, Montana Tree RX. Today we're going to start the process of breaking in a brand new 500i. What I like to do is generally use like a steel grade 2-cycle to start the process. With these new chainsaws, I generally like to let them idle for 20 to 30 minutes before I start a half throttle break-in. So I'm going to get this thing fired up. We're going to let it run for 20 to 30 minutes and then go out in the field and start cutting some cookies or some trees at half throttle. So stay tuned. Thanks. So the first part of the process is prime the bubble 8 times and then pull her to fire. Alright, so we've done our 20-minute idle to start the break-in process for this new Stihl 500i. I just want to clarify, I like to use like a steel grade premix or another high quality premix to do my break-ins. Just make sure you have the right lubrications for all your moving parts within the saw. So now we're going to go out into the field and we're going to start our half throttle break-in, and generally I like to run at least 2 tanks for that process. Some people recommend 3, maybe more, but for me I generally run 2 tanks at half throttle and then move on with starting to cut. We'll see you on the next clip. All right, we've got the idle break-in done. Now we're out here in the field and we're going to start cutting this tree up using the 500i at half throttle for 2 tanks. So we're going to get the process going and stay tuned for more. So after about a quarter tank to a half tank, I generally like to pull the saw out, check my chain tension. I did notice that my bar nuts started to work loose. That's a failure on my part, not checking them before I started sawing, but glad I noticed it. So right now I'm going to go ahead and check the chain, tighten it up a little bit. These brand new chains, when they get heated up, they do stretch, so always important to make sure your chain's at the right tension. Never too tight, because that's hard on your bar, especially the tip. And never too loose, because you'll throw your chain a lot more than you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So you can see my chain is pretty loose. You don't want that. So general rule of thumb is when you pull up on it, these drivers here, you want about 3 exposed above the rail. That's what I go with, because when you tighten it down, generally it's going to get a little tighter. So that's a good way to go about it. And so I'm going to go ahead and tighten her up a little bit right here so I get the desired tightness. So right there is pretty good. I'll show you up close. So you pull the chain, and as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3 above the rail. So that's generally how I run it. And then I tighten my bar nuts down, and usually that's about the tightness I want. So got one tank down. Can already tell the performance is getting better with the break-in. So I'm going to continue with one more tank, and then we're going to head back to the shop and give this thing a good cleaning, make sure the air filter is clean before we go out and cut a big Douglas fir later today. So I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you have a different way of doing things. Love to hear about it. Everybody does this a little bit differently, but just wanted to share my knowledge. Appreciate you, and we'll see you here after a bit. All right, so we're back at the shop. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up, get the air filter blown out, put an edge on it before we head out, cut that big Doug fir. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope this helps some of you folks with the break-in process. All right, now that we got the 500i break-in done, this right here is going to be our first tree with the brand new 500i we purchased. Pretty decent sized tree. It is alive, but it's an issue because it is right on the corner of a switchback, and we pull some pretty long trailers down here. So we're going to remove that this afternoon. Should be a good time. Here we go.